Today, I used ChatGPT to determine the next 15 Formula One seasons, including the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship, and I let them throw in a cool and a completely random fact for every single Formula One season. This video, honestly, a lot of fun to make, and some of the scenarios that ChatGPT came up with are quite insane, so you guys are not going to want to miss this video. But with that being said, everybody, enjoy the next 15 years of Formula One. Today's video is sponsored by my favorite Formula One partner, Formula Neon. We all know Formula Neon for making great and amazing and quality neon lit racetracks and mirror tracks as well. But now they're releasing a brand new product called the Neon Number, where you can get your favorite Formula One driver's number as a neon light, just like a neon track. Hang it up on your wall, and for a pretty solid price as well. Starting May 27th at 6 a.m. PST. To create hype for the launch, Neon Number is going to be 50% off for the first 24 hours. Also, don't forget to use my code and a link in the description. The code is CFRacing on the website for 10% off any purchase, basically. It is pretty awesome. So once again, thank you Formula Neon for sponsoring today's video. I believe I will be getting a Charles Leclerc neon number light, so I will definitely review it once it comes here. And with that being said, guys, enjoy the video. Go check out Formula Neon. Link is in the descriptions down below for all your amazing and latest and greatest Formula One products. We're gonna start it all off in 2023, and to my surprise, ChatGPT says that Lewis Hamilton is going to win the 2023 World Drivers' Championship. That makes him an 8-time world champion. He probably will retire by the end of the year. They say that Red Bull will win the Constructors' Championship, and unfortunately, this is the least cool fact out of all the cool facts, and it says there will be a record-breaking 23 Formula One races held this season, which we already know is going to happen because that's what the calendar is, even though Imola did just get canceled for this week, which sucks because I love Imola. In 2024, the Drivers' Championship has gone to Charles Leclerc. That makes him a first-time world champion and Ferrari's first world champion since 2007. They say that Ferrari is going to take the Constructors' Championship, and here's a really cool thing here. The first ever Formula One race takes place in Antarctica, challenging drivers in extreme conditions. We've seen Red Bull do this in the past. I don't believe it was in Antarctica, though. It was in some other cold place, probably Canada, honestly, somewhere up north. And, you know, they saw Max Verstappen, I believe, drift F1 car in the snow, but now they have a whole race in Antarctica, so that's pretty cool. I'd love to see that next year. If that's actually in 2024, that would be crazy. In 2025, the World Drivers' Champion is Lando Norris, making him a one-time World Drivers' Champion. And look at this. 3 seasons, 3 new champions. You absolutely love to see it. McLaren win the Constructors' Champion, and this cool fact is a little bit of a crazy one. A team successfully implements an AI-driven car, enhancing performance and strategy. I'm sure Ferrari could help with the could use that in terms of strategy. I don't know how that would work for an AI-driven car, considering Lando Norris won the championship, unless it's bot Lando Norris like we saw in Lockdown. Either way, still really cool. In 2026, the Drivers' Champion is Pierre Gasly, with AlphaTauri winning the Constructors' Champion. That's a little bit weird, I have to say, considering Gasly 1 wins a championship, 2 AlphaTauri wins a championship, and 3 Gasly, I don't know if he was with AlphaTauri, but it would make sense if they were back together again, even though he's driving for Alpine now. And the cool fact for 2026 is that a non-hybrid, fully electric car wins its first Formula One race. And that's a little bit fitting because in 2026, we know the new engine regulations are going to be coming out. Obviously, it's not going to be fully electric by then, but still really cool that the ChatGPT knows that this is sort of coming in the future. In Season 5, George Russell wins his first ever World Drivers' Championship, and Williams win a Constructors' Championship. Once again, it doesn't say that George Russell is driving for Williams, but since he won the Constructors' Championship, it's kind of fitting that he maybe did drive for Williams, and he's back at Williams, so that's pretty cool. The cool fact for the season is that all teams introduce 3D printed parts, reducing weight and increasing speed. And honestly, this could happen in the future. Obviously, you got to have some sort of like crazy heat reduction on those 3D printed parts, and obviously they're not very strong as well. 3D printed parts are much lighter than carbon fiber. Obviously they're not as strong and as heat resistant, but if there's a way in 2027 for something like that to happen, that would be really cool and completely game changing for Formula 1 cars. And once again, look at them, they're still trying to meet the weight limit. That's awesome. In 2028 we have another new world drivers champion, and it is Esteban Ocon, and the constructors champion is Alpine. Good to see Alpine back up at the front there. You know, we saw Ferrari win a title. We saw McLaren win a title. AlphaTauri's won a title. Williams has won a title. Now Alpine has won a title. Seems like every team is winning a title. I like this the simulation so far. It's a lot of fun. And the cool fact for the season is that the first ever race takes place on a floating track set in the middle of the ocean. And honestly, wasn't this the original plan for the Miami Grand Prix? Weren't they gonna like build a big old bridge, go into like, I don't know, the Pacific Ocean or something and come all the way back? I believe that's sort of what the original plan is. Now, obviously, they race in that parking lot in the Dolphin Stadium. But I think the original plan for Miami was like a big old straight little hairpin and then a big old straight back. That's really cool. In 2029, it looks like Mick Schumacher is back in Formula 1, and it's because he has won the Drivers' Championship, putting the Schumacher name back on top in Formula 1, and Haas has won a Constructors' Championship. Like I said, every team has won a championship so far. This is absolutely insane. I don't know how Mick and Haas have done that. I'm sure Gunther Steiner's absolutely going crazy right now. But the cool fact is that a driver wins the championship with one single victory, but consistent podium finishes. So good for Mick. You know, we wanted him to be more consistent in Formula 1. And yeah, he had some great performances like last year in Austria and last year in Silverstone. But then again, he did crash a lot. So seeing Mick only win one race, but had a lot of podiums, really is just like how he won his Formula 2 and Formula 3 titles. So good to see Mick doing very well back in Formula 1 in 2029. That's quite a long way, but welcome back, Mick. In 2030, speaking of somebody who was dropped from Formula 1, Antonio Giovinazzi is the World Drivers' Champion, and we have another new team winning the Drivers' Championship, and that is Alfa Romeo. What is happening in this simulation? Ferrari's only won once. Mercedes has won one title. I believe that was with Lewis. Red Bull's won one Constructors title. Verstappen hasn't even won a title yet, so who knows what's going on there. But yeah, we got Giovinazzi and Alfa Romeo winning titles now. What's next? Kimi Räikkönen's going to come back. And the cool fact for this one, this is probably the craziest one of all. F1 expands to include a race on the moon, making it the most watched sporting event in history. That's insane. That literally beats the World Cup finals from this year, I guess you would have to say. A race on the moon. Like, yeah, that's obviously going to be the title and thumbnail for this video. But in 2030, that's like 7 years away. If they could race on the moon in 7 years, guys, that would be absolutely insane. I can't wait for that. In 2031, Daniel Ricciardo is now back in Formula 1, and he wins a Drivers' Championship. I swear they don't have repeat champions here, which is something you absolutely love to see. And Aston Martin win their first ever World Constructors' Championship. Good for them. Good for Daniel Ricciardo. Welcome back to Formula 1. I don't know where Lance Stroll is. I mean, maybe Fernando Alonso's racing. Maybe Lance Stroll's his teammate. Who really knows? But the cool fact for the season, kind of a boring one, the introduction of an anonymous safety car leads to a significant reduction in accidents. Okay, whatever, not really thrilling, but hey, Daniel Ricciardo won a championship, so that's really all that matters. You guys are going to like this one even more. In 2032, Sebastian Vettel wins a Drivers' Championship. That brings his tally up to 5 for his career, and you know what he did it for? He did it driving for Aston Martin. You absolutely love to see it. Welcome back, Seb. Fernando Alonso couldn't win a title for Aston Martin, but Sebastian Vettel, and I guess Daniel Ricciardo can. Maybe they're teammates. That's quite interesting. And the cool fact for the 2032 season is that drivers compete in a reverse grid race, starting based on the championship standings in reverse order, which is something I would absolutely love to see. And yeah, I know in F2 it works, but they only reverse the top 10 or the top 8 or whatever. But man, a reverse grid, just say for example, Max Verstappen starting last, we got Perez starting second last, so we got like Nick DeBris and Logan Sargent starting from P1 and P2. I'd love to see it. Crazy how it takes until 2032 for this to happen, but either way, hey, we finally got it. In 2033, we have a new World Drivers Champion. It's been the same like this every single season. Another new World Champion. I love the simulation so far. It's a lot of fun. We got Carlos Sainz winning it for Ferrari, as Ferrari is the Constructors Champion. I will leave this complete text box in the description down below because some of you guys probably won't believe me, or I'll leave it in my Discord. Join the Discord, links in the description. Yeah, like I said, Carlos Sainz wins in 2033 with Ferrari as the Constructors Champion. That makes Ferrari 2-time Constructors Championships. You absolutely love to see it. And a cool fact, this is a weird one. An F1 team pioneers a revolutionary air-powered engine, reducing emissions and environmental impact. I mean, maybe not the weirdest, as it is 2033 in this scenario here. And yeah, I know F1 wants to go completely carbon neutral by 2030. Maybe they didn't make that part, and now they're doing it in 2033. Either way, congrats Carlos Sainz, congrats Ferrari, and congrats to F1 as a whole for being completely and fully environmentally free as they use air to power their engines, which there is a lot of, basically. In 2034, Max Verstappen is back on the top of Formula 1, and so is Red Bull. You absolutely love to see it, and they might have had an upper advantage in this season so far, as the cool fact is that the first ever race held in zero gravity takes place aboard a space station, which then we did have a race in the moon. So I don't know how zero gravity is the first time there, unless they somehow put gravity on the moon. Really hard to tell. Or how would a gravity race? You got little propellers pushing the car forward or something. Either way, that's really cool. And like I said, Red Bull has an advantage because they did a tire pit stop back a couple years ago, was it? When they changed tires in a space station with zero gravity. So yes, clear advantage for Red Bull, obviously. But still, really cool to see that they had a race in zero gravity in 2034. Cool. In 2035, George Russell wins another world champion. George Russell is a 2-time champion, and Mercedes win their first World Constructors Championship of this entire simulation. So they've gone a long time without winning one. And the cool fact for this season is that a driver achieves a perfect season, winning every race of the year. So George Russell, if there's like 40 races by the time in 2035, George Russell wins all 40 of them, making him a 40-time race winner. Congratulations, George. You had a god-tier season, I have to say. And yeah, he won in 2035. And in 2036, we got Charles Leclerc back on top again with Ferrari. Looks like he stayed with Ferrari his entire life. You absolutely love to see it. And this is a really interesting one in 2036. And this is F1 introduces fully transparent cars, allowing spectators to see the driver's every move. And this would be something really cool to see in real life. I know Kimi Räikkönen back in the day sat in an iced carved car, and you could see, you see him moving around in there because it's sort of see-through, but this is fully transparent. So you can see the driver's footwork and everything, whatever they're doing inside the cockpit, who really knows? But yeah, Charles Leclerc's won in 2036, and Ferrari's won in 2036. You love to see it. Ferrari, 3-time Constructors Champions in the simulation. In 2037, Lando Norris wins the Drivers' Championship, and McLaren win the Constructors' Championship. Good for them, good for them. For some reason, ChatGPT decided to re-put a driver achieves a perfect season. So Lando Norris had a perfect season as well. Looks like that McLaren car was absolutely dominant, and you simply love to see it. They did very well this year. Let's move on to 2038 and the final season of this simulation. In 2038, Max Verstappen wins the Drivers' Championship, and Mercedes wins the Constructors' Championship. And the cool fact for this does not make sense at all, as it says the youngest ever rookie driver wins the championship in his debut season, even though the Drivers' Champion was Max Verstappen. I don't know how that really works. Maybe it's Max Verstappen too, or maybe his son. I don't know. Maybe there's another guy named Max Verstappen out there. Who really knows? Either way, that was season 15, and let's get on to the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Let me know. I think this was a lot of fun to do. Let me know what you guys thought of this, because I thought it was a lot of fun. And also, go check out Formula Neon. Link is in the description down below. Get some discounts. Get some cool Formula 1 merch. That is really awesome, and it just looks really good on your wall. Let's be honest. It looks fantastic. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Join my Discord. Links in the description down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.